Hello, my name is Nadia Strachan and I am your design consultant for today. Now, thank you for choosing to have a design consultation, and you have chosen to have a luxurious deconstructed living room. And this is fantastic. So this is a picture of it. Isn't that luxurious? Isn't that fantastic? Now, some people have asked me, what is a luxurious deconstructed, well, what it is basically, it is sort of the higher end version of shabby chic. You've heard of shabby chic. This is the higher end version. Shabby chic, when I do a shabby chic, usually it's with a bronze, maybe going towards a silver scheme, but this is a gold scheme, living room. So this is a living room, and this is your gold scheme living room. Now I have put these in sort of lifestyle scenarios. Now the lifestyle scenario is a scenario that I've chosen Guy and Penelope Summers. Guy and Penelope Summers. This is a picture of Guy and Penelope, and they are their lifestyle pertains to the gold scheme. Their whole home, they live in a 5-bedroom luxury townhouse in Knightsbridge in London. And so each one of their rooms, they have a drawing room, where they entertain their business associates, and they also have the living room, which is where they entertain their friends, and sometimes they allow business associates, once they get to know them, to come into their living room space. And also they have a family room, which they reserve for themselves, which is much more of an intimate space, which is for themselves and for their immediate family, sort of thing. So, but all of it, the whole home is a gold standard home. And so their living room is no exception. Living room is no exception. So this is called a deconstructed. The reason why it's called deconstructed chic, okay, because as I said, it's a step up from shabby chic. Shabby chic is usually pieces that have their own story. They're pre-loved pieces. With deconstructed, they are not pre-loved pieces, okay? They have been distressed. They are new pieces that have been distressed to form a certain look, okay? So these are not second-hand pieces, these are new pieces. So this is called deconstructed, okay? So these are brand new pieces, and they have been deconstructed to look a lot like when you go to an antique shop. When you go to an antique shop and you see a lot of pieces that look like this, where the backs are missing and you can see the interiors and how they're beautifully made and they're really finely crafted. So you only want to deconstruct a piece that has been made by a craftsman. And so they're showing that these pieces have been crafted really well. So they've had really a master carpenter has produced each one of these pieces. And so that's why they're called that's why they're deconstructed. So they've been stripped back. Now the only part that is stripped back is only the back, the part that does not come in contact with your person. So when you're sitting on them, you still get the full experience of being in luxury. So you get this beautiful, comfortable, luxurious piece of furniture, and you sit in it and you enjoy it. It's only the actual exterior of the piece that is actually deconstructed, so you can see how beautifully and wonderfully made it is, okay? And it is beautifully and wonderfully made. Now, in doing this consultation for you, I am going to split it into 3 sections. There's 3 different types of sections, okay? It's going to be the full DIY, whereby you do all of it yourself. So if you decided, I like this, luxury deconstructed, and I can do that myself. I've seen pieces of wonderful furniture in second-hand shops, and they're great pieces, they have to be good pieces. They cannot be sort of your modern day sort of throwaway type pieces. If they're old pieces and you think I can deconstruct it myself and create this, I'd say go for it. That's full DIY. That's what I call full DIY, where you buy pieces from an antique shop or from a really quality second-hand place, and then you deconstruct it yourself to create this piece. Or maybe you've inherited pieces and you want to deconstruct it to get this look as well. Okay. So that's full DIY, where you do it all yourself. You do all the decorating yourself, and you hang the curtains yourself. You do literally everything yourself. Even lay the carpets, and if there's carpets yourself. Okay, so that's what I call full DIY. Then there's a part DIY, part trade, and that's whereby you do, as I said before, you deconstruct things yourself. Obviously, you're going to buy everything yourself, but the other thing that you do is that you bring trade in for certain pieces. So there's certain things like the electrics. If you are not a qualified electrician, for health and safety and for your own safety, please get a trade person in to do your electrics. If you can see in the middle of the room here, there's this beautiful chandelier, which in itself looks deconstructed, okay? And that's a piece that maybe you want to distress and create yourself. So even this piece, but you need to have it hung by a qualified electrician can actually connect and hang that yourself. Things like the picture lights. It may seem really simple, but if you want to have clean lines and not wires hanging everywhere, then you need to get an electrician to be able to chase those wires through the walls. So electrician will chase those for you, and obviously you're going to need a plasterer to come in after they've been chased to plaster over those, etc. And so so there's certain things that you need to have done for you, which are really quite tricky to do. So that's something I say. One thing you may find really difficult to do in this room, these ceilings are obviously 3 meters high, so it's really tall ceilings. So you may want somebody to come in and actually paint the ceilings for you, and maybe you get on with the rest of it yourself. So just to know, that's part DIY, part trade. Whether or not the DIY is 50-50, you do half and the trade does half, or maybe it's a case of maybe 80% is you and 20% is trade. It doesn't matter what the percentage is, it's part and part. Then the next route is full trade. Maybe you are time poor, but maybe you are maybe financially rich in that way. Time poor, financially rich, or whichever way. Maybe you're not. Maybe you just don't have the time because you're busy, your schedule, etc. But you can literally get somebody in to do everything for you. That's full trade, where you literally hand this over. You can hand over the videos so they can watch the videos and know how to go about it, because in the second video I will break it down as to how they actually interpret everything to be able to put the scheme together. So it's important to watch the videos as well, but I would say they need to print everything off for your tradesperson and hand it to them. This will save you time and money, because they will have everything handed to them there, and they can just simply get on with it. They have the picture of how it's supposed to look in the end, and they will have this part here as well. This will be part 3 and 4. I will explain this part to you in the next video. In this part of the video, I'm just explaining sections 1 and 2. And section 1 is me explaining the video to you and explaining what it's about. Now, as I said, there's a bronze scheme, silver scheme and gold scheme. This is a gold scheme. It's just how much it will take to actually complete your project. This is a gold scheme project, okay? Now, if you have a smaller accommodation and you want to put in half, because they've got an awful lot in there. I mean, they've got 3 sofas and 2 chairs. If you want to pare it down to maybe 1 sofa and 2 chairs, or 2 chairs, and you know, it's up to you. Depending on the size of your property, that's entirely up to you. You can pare it down if you're in a smaller property or a smaller room, or if you're in a larger space, you can add items and you can expand it as well. But it's up to you the size. You may decide that only half of that scheme is all you require. So that's fine. If it's only you require half of that scheme, then maybe you can get this down to a silver scheme level. But I would say that I don't think you'll get it down to a bronze scheme level, just because the items in it for Deconstructed, if you're going to get them from an antique shop, they're going to cost something, or quality pieces, they do cost a little bit more. And that's why I say that maybe you can get the scheme down, if it's a smaller scheme, to silver. That's fine, but generally this is a gold scheme, and the prices I've given are sort of starting prices, okay? Just for you to be aware of that. Now, as I've explained to you what the Deconstructed scheme is, looking at this, I put this into, like I said, lifestyle scenarios, and the lifestyle scenario explains to you, when you actually read these scenarios, okay, this will explain to you how this couple use the space. So when you use these scenarios, you can see here in the section 2, and it tells you the scenario. It just explains how this couple use their space, and explains to you a little bit about the actual items within the space. But the videos give you a lot more information, because it's a lot more detailed. Otherwise, this will end up being a little mini sort of volume of paper if I actually put all of this down in writing. So a video is much more easier to get the message across to you, and for you to understand how you can use this to create your scheme for your home. Okay, so luxury Deconstructed. So now within the luxury Deconstructed, what is really key is the items in this. For this to work, as I say, the deconstruction is on the back of the item. Sometimes on the front, maybe the arm piece, you might see a little bit of deconstruction. The placing of these items within the room is very important for this scheme to work. As you can see, we can see the backs of these sofas, so we can see that they're deconstructed. So some items, they need to be able to be visible from the back. So if you have a very tight space, maybe you need less furniture, or the placement of it, so that you can see the deconstruction of the furniture. Otherwise, it doesn't serve its purpose. Okay, so it's important to be able to see the deconstruction, because that's part of the beauty of this whole overall scheme. So that's important to know. When you look at certain items that I put in here, now I have put, if you can see the window treatments there, the window treatments, the materials that I've used are very deliberate, because deconstruction talks to much more of a rustic feel, even though it's a luxury feel. On the sofas, the fabrics, they may look, they might be a bit harsh or rough on the skin. They're not. They are always going to be a brushed. I go for a brushed finish to them, so they have a brush finish, so they're not sort of rough or abrasive on the skin, because you are going to be using this is a living space, so you want to feel comfortable and relaxed when you sit on these sofas, because it is your common meeting space where you're going to spend quite a lot of time. So the actual window treatments are going to reflect the materials that are actually going to be on the sofas. So they're going to be much more of a natural sort of rustic sort of fabrics on the windows as well. So there's going to be a lot of complements with this, a lot of contrast going on here. Whereas you see the picture elements here, these are more luxurious, more high-end sort of luxurious feel to the actual pictures and the frames. And so that's the elements of the sort of luxury Deconstructed. So there are going to be luxury elements, lots of sort of golds and brasses and those sort of glistening sort of elements to this that add that sort of luxury sort of shine to this element, as well as the that sit alongside the contrast of the deconstructed. And it's important, if you're going for luxury deconstructed, to have the luxury elements sitting alongside the deconstructed elements. Okay, so that's very important for you to understand how the balance works in a scheme like this, to be able to make it sit very comfortably and to have a really healthy balance, okay, for it to flow to a very comfortable room. So that's an important thing for you to be aware of when we're doing this. As I said, with the storylines, it's basically to give you context, and also it give you ideas as well. So when you get context and you understand how somebody else uses the room or how they view it, it will give you context and give you ideas as well of how you can use the room. Obviously, I don't expect everybody to be a Guy and a Penelope. Guy is a investment banker and Penelope is a novelist. She writes crime novels. So I don't expect you to be a Guy and Penelope. That's fine. Whatever your storyline is, for this scheme to work for you to be able to inject your own elements into there. If you look at the pictures on the walls, this is an ideal place for you to inject your own personal story. And I recommend you do that, to inject your own personal story. Now, if you look at this, with these pictures, they have their sepia tones for a very good reason. I've used sepia prints, and I've printed them on different sort of rich sort I would say brass gloss type paper. So you can print your sepia tone onto luxurious papers, and there's a whole host of papers you can get. You can get them from many different places, a whole host of papers. And I would say get your photographs, your sepia tones printed onto luxury, and that will add that luxurious end element with your luxurious sort of jewel toned sort of brass, gold tone picture frames that really lift this whole scheme, and that creates that beautiful look for you. So it's really important that you understand how to balance this out for yourself. Okay, so that's a really wonderful for you to understand how this works and how this falls together. Now, the moving into the next part, the next section of the video, as I said, I will explain to you how to put this all together, and how you're going to construct it as well. The first thing I say, please print off all the elements of it. Yes, you have a laptop or a phone or an iPad. Yes, you can play this over and over again, but the hard copy, you can make notes on it. And it's important to have the hard copy, because the hard copy doesn't run out of charge, and items don't get wiped away from a computer. And also you can photocopy things off. One thing I would say with items like this, if you are going to go down the route of not buying brand new that is already deconstructed, that's the far end of the spectrum, that you buy it and it's already deconstructed. If you're not going to go down that route, I would say if you're going to go down the second-hand route, then give yourself time. Give yourself time to deconstruct this. You may need to do things like the interiors of some of your if you're going to go for antique pieces, to replace the interiors. It's a lot like buying a new mattress. Very rarely, or I wouldn't recommend buying a second-hand mattress, usually because you have creatures living in second-hand mattresses, and it's the same with second-hand furniture. You will have things or creatures living inside the second-hand furniture. And also as well, if you're going to buy second-hand and deconstruct this yourself, then you need to look out for woodworm. And if you've got woodworm, it needs to be treated thoroughly before you bring it into your house. Before you bring it into your house, you need to treat it or get it treated from where you bought it from, if you don't treat it yourself. So you need to, if you're going to buy second hand, you need to make sure it hasn't got woodworm, and also you need to replace the seat interiors and get it cleaned thoroughly before you actually bring it into your home. So that's very important. A scheme like this, I would say, will probably take you to put together about 3 months. 3 months is sort of a ball point. If you're going to put together, try and do this yourself, 3 months. And I'd say even if it's going to be part trade and part DIY, it's 3 months to put this scheme together. If you're going to get somebody to do it for you, they probably could do this from 3 to 4 weeks. So 3 to 4 weeks. So that literally a quarter of the time, they can put this scheme together for you. A quarter or a third of the time it would take you to do it. If you hand this all over to either a project manager, be that a builder or an interior designer, you can put they can put this together, because they would order all the items, get them in place, and then schedule it out, and then implement everything. It'll take roughly about 3 months. Once you have printed everything off, then I'd say getting ready for the next video that I'm going to talk to you about how to put everything together. Give yourself 2 weeks. It will take you about 2 weeks to get everything together. Sometimes things are not in stock. You order your items online. Go in store and get the items. Go in store and get the items. You get them a lot quicker, and also it won't cost you anything to get the items as well. So if you need to collect photographs, items, etc., go in store, collect everything, and then bring it all in one place, and then you're ready for the second half of the video of how we put this wonderful scheme together. I really believe that this interior has the ability to change your life. Imagine if you come home every day, whether this is your main room or this is one of many rooms in your house. Maybe you have a drawing room and a family room as well, or maybe this is your main living space. This, whichever combination it is, this has the ability to change your story and change your life. And I have seen people's lives change over the years. I have been doing this for over 20 years, and I've seen people's lives and their stories change by changing their homes one room at a time. And imagine if you come home to this every day, you can't help but change your story, and in turn change your life. It's going to change you, and it's going to change your life for the better. It's such a wonderful, uplifting space to live in, and I'm really looking forward to helping you to achieve this for yourself. And this will definitely change your story, and in turn, this will change your life. Looking forward to telling you how to put this together. Thank you.